off in here with a 24 Maw of Souls done in time. And for this run we used me as a shadow, Blood Decay, a Balanced Druid, Holy Paladin and a Feral Druid. So 2 wheelchair specs and you can still do this in time without any problems. So let's just get into it. We start off by just skipping the first pack, because once you get into these high keys you really want to avoid doing solo packs, because there will just be a big time loss in the end. So run across the bridge and just pull everything. The only thing we were a bit worried of was if the tank could survive it, but just have to go for it. The timer in Maw of Souls is just really tight, so just pop drums, use everything. The only thing you need to look out for is the fracture that the slaves will cast. So just have an eye of what direction they're facing, but it's not that big of a deal as a ranged player, because you will have some distance to them, so it'll be easy to see incoming. And this pull was just really good. The tank didn't have to use any cooldowns on it, and necrotic was not a problem. And for this boss, it's not a whole lot. You just want to soak one of the ad waves, because necrotic and the dark slash can be a really nasty combo for the tank. So we will just, on the first wave here, once they spawn, we just have the Holy Paladin and Feral Druid soak as many as they could. Because if the tank gets too high stacks of the necrotic, the healer won't be able to top him off before the next one comes in again. And here as the spawn, I just pop my Fate, so I don't have to worry about aggro at all. Then just start them up and continue. This fight is really up to the tank. See, he'll just run off here and reset the necrotic stacks. My dispersion is ready here, so I'm ready for soaking. And I'll just wait until I see an area where they're kind of clumped up, so I can soak as many as possible. And in hindsight, I should have entered void form before I went soaking, because I lose quite some uptime of it here. So I end up padding on the ass instead. Yeah, that's the boss. It's really easy if you have a tank who knows how to deal with the necrotic and the dark lash or slash. We had done like a couple of Maw of Souls before this, so we had runs where we would pull all 3 groups here, but it ended up being really messy, so we just went with 1 pack here instead, because the barrels these 2 do is really annoying for the feral, and it would cause some random death here and there. So doing him by himself was just a lot smoother. And the necrotic was also a problem when we did the big pulls, so yeah. We kept it safe here. And here, no barrels. It's gonna be much easier for the feral, so we just pull both groups. I pop my fade so I can just stand in the open and throw my dots out. It's such an annoying room to DPS in, because you get all these weird angles with your camera. You see the debuff they do here. I'll just throw a mass dispel out and hoping that it will dispel, but yeah, there's only 50% chance of your dispel going through, so throw a mass dispel, and if it didn't work then it's whatever. Don't waste like 4 globals on it, just continue DPSing. And these hounds, if people don't know how they work, they will jump the furthest target. So you'll see here, once we pull them, I'll just wait, throw a stun on them, and then you'll see the tank, he'll just run off now. You just run all the way to the side, so once they get in his line of sight, they'll jump him, and we'll just stay close to them, and he'll just run to the other side. And we just keep doing this until they're dead, so no one gets randomly one shot by him. And this part is really where you save the time you need to do this, because like I said in the start, you don't want to waste time on single targeting one mob down, like this Mariner and the big guy afterwards. It's just such a huge time loss in the end. So the tank pulls him, runs off, and we just skip him like this. The paladin start rushing here. I put down a feast for the tank so he can get the health back up and get the versatility buff. And if you can, you want to interrupt one of the fears here, just to proc your Cephas. And our tank even dies on this pull, but our feral was quick. He just went into bear form afterwards, because they would aggro on me. I just pop my fade, you see the feral goes bear form, he just tanks him until we get the battle res on the tank. And here comes the second boss. It's always this guy who's gonna decide the key, if you're gonna make it or not. Once you get into a group of people who knows how to play him, he's actually pretty easy. You just want to stay close to the boss all the time, so you spawn, especially the Serviator, you spawn it at the boss so the feral can just cleave off of him. And I'll throw my mind bomb like on the boss before the mob spawn, so they get stunned instantly once they pop up. And that'll just give us a lot more cleave from the feral, because they will kill you really fast on these high keys. So you just want to burst them down really quick. Yeah, you just see the group. We're always at the tank. This makes it so much easier, because you will always see what direction he's facing when he's casting his scythe. Because that was usually one of the problems I had earlier. that if I kept range to him, I would not always notice the, the purple animation you see from it. But once I'm up close, I can just always see what direction he's facing. Here you see the feral gets the debuff. I throw the mind bomb on boss, and they just get stunned. I ran into the wrong direction, so I just get back to the boss as fast as I can, so you don't spawn the ad in an awkward place. And because of all the skips we did at the start on the boat, you need to pull the whole boat here to make the percentage. So we'll do the boat in like 3 pulls and then the mini boss. And we were so good on time, so we could just pop drums here. The tank will just stay in as long as he can, and then run out to reset his stacks whenever he needs to. And we're not using voice or anything, so the interrupts might not be as good, so whenever they fear, I'll just throw a master spell out for the feral so he can stay in all the time, because it's frustrating for him if he has to run in and out all the time to avoid the fear. It's much easier if I just throw a master spell for him and help him out, because it's really rough being melee in Maw of Souls, so any help is appreciated by him. And the tank, I think he was waiting for the fear on the big guy here before he pulled the next pack. Or else it was just because of his cooldowns, because it was a bit delayed here. I was trying to throw out some frag bombs to interrupt the casts. And on these mobs I just throw my mind bomb on them before they go into the immune phase, so I can actually get some dots on them. And here this dispersion is a bad disperse, because you don't want to disperse after you have taken the actual damage, so small misplay by me, but you don't need it on this pack, so it didn't matter a whole lot. and this mini boss, you just really need to look out for the charge he does, because it will one-shot you on this high of a key. So you'll just see me move quite a lot on this fight, and it's the reason for it is just sometimes I just won't see the direction he's facing, so I just want to be safe, and I'd rather move a bit more than I have to than being one shot by the charge. And if he ever gets that cast off, you can just mass dispel the debuff. You shouldn't, but you can. I'll use these mobs to get some insanity back. And like, once we were at Helya, we had almost 7 minutes left. I knew this was, like, this key was done. Because, in my opinion, Helya is one of the easier fights in here. As long as you're careful, you just need to either stand on the left side or the right side of the boat. Watch out for the barrages, and that's really it. Because if you stay to the far left or right, you're not gonna get so-called unlucky with the tentacle spawns that makes the hole in the boat. Because there's certain places they can spawn. I just moved my camera so I can see at what side the barrage is gonna come. And the Druze, he was really sure that we only had one tentacle left before she submerged, so he's just typing grasping here, but we had to kill the one more, so just kill the destructor off here. And I had a panic disperse here because I got stuck. I was scared of getting one shot by that tentacle. And this face of Helya is a bit like Odin. Kinda annoying as a Shadow Priest, because we don't get into our execute range. Bit like Warriors is losing a big chunk of damage in this boss. So is Shadow Priest. And this face is just a walk in the park, really. As long as you can get the interrupts down, it's just a matter of looking what side she's facing with the breath. I even had 3 tentacles there. That's crazy. See, I'll just mouse over some of them and throw a heal on them. Not doing anything anyway in that phase. We were so good on time that we didn't even get anything from our third bloodlust. We got a bit unlucky with the second submerge. She will actually go down with 0.1% left. Well, I'm pretty sure we can do a 25 in time if we ever get one, because this felt really smooth. And here we pop Bloodlust. You see the submerge is incoming here. As she drops down with 7.6. And the boss is done at 70.4 or 5. So once she comes up, she just falls over. And yep, that was the key. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, any questions, just leave it in the comments, and I'll see you next time.